Hey, how's it going out there? My name's Chard. It's the first time I've been back in a long time. Doesn't feel that long because time keeps speeding up, you know? I did a series called 1 Foot of Books. How many videos did I do? Like almost 30 of those. And then I just kind of stopped. I faded away. But it's 2026. I've been in a comfort zone for too long. So I'm getting out of that. I want to get out of that. So my uploads might be sporadic, but I'm also using this as an opportunity to learn editing a bit more. I did some editing years and years ago, but this is how long ago. So I did video editing at university, and this was the year 2001, 2001. And video editing was basically, you'd have to shoot on videotape and then digitize, and that would take overnight to digitize a few shots. And your computer tower was about, that big. And it was just full of hard drives and processing stuff. So it's a bit easier now. I gotta say, so I'm gonna use this video and the preceding video. I'm get into editing, kind of zhuzh this up a little bit, So anyway, this new series, I will probably get back to 1 Foot of Books at some point because I keep buying books. Although I have mellowed a lot in the last year or so. Been reading more, buying less, which is good. So this one. This series is called 10 CDs, and each however long between videos. I don't want to put a time frame on anything anyway. I'm just going to grab 10 CDs out of, I've got a couple of boxes of CDs downstairs, and I'm just going to grab 10 CDs out of them and just run you through them. A bit of history of them, of my history with them, and yeah, we'll go from there. It's kind of like an exploration of nostalgia, going back through the physical media. All these, pretty much all the CDs I'm going to be talking about pre 2015, 2016. That's pretty much the time. 10 years ago, I kind of stopped buying CDs. I still get them on very rare occasions if I find something cool in like a Salvos or something like that. But the buying days, going out and buying them like I used to back in the 90s, long gone. So anyway, so yeah, I want to talk about 10 CDs. I just want to keep it, like, I could do a foot of CDs, but you'd be here for an hour, because a foot of books would take me half an hour, and that was just me barely talking about them. So 10 CDs, hopefully maybe 10-15 minutes, I don't know, we'll see. That's why I'm editing too. Cut out all this other crap before I just would be like, hey, here's a CD. All right, this is 10 CDs, volume one. Okay, I'll take little photos of these as well and do little like kind of transitions and stuff like that. So the first one I've got is Regular Fries, Accept the Signal. This is from, I think, 2001. It's just a slipcase cover. I think it was a promo version of the album. I'm pretty sure I had a jewel case version years and years ago. I don't know what happened to it. I found this somewhere, I think at a secondhand shop, in like the singles kind of rack, because it was just a promo, but it's the full album, Accept the Signal. Regular Fries were kind of like, well, not kind of, they were a band. They came out of the UK, late 90s, released a few albums, and then just kind of broke up, went away. I was just listening to it before because I was like, man, I haven't heard this album in probably at least 15 years. So I chucked it on, and it's a very good example of like stoner rocktronica that was coming out of the UK back then. It reminded me a bit of like Scott 4, who I'm now keen to listen to again, because I loved one of their albums, and I'll probably find it in the boxes. But yeah, this is a good album. It's a heady mix of like cosmic kind of rock, but you know, electronica, trip hoppy kind of stuff in there. Not so much trip hop. I'm just pulling words out of my brain and spitting them through my mouth. But it's good if you like stuff like Scott 4. I'm trying to think who else was kind of big back. Yeah, a bit Radioheady, a little bit Mogwai, little touch. What's the other one? Spiritualized. So yeah, except the Signal, regular fries. I'll take little photos and put up the things and give links and stuff like that. This is one I got. I'm from New Zealand, and I live in Australia. This is one I got on a trip home many years ago now. When did this come out? 2017. I would have got this about 2018. Yes, because that was the last time I went there before last year. Since then, that makes sense. Yeah. So this is a CD DVD combo. It's the Comic Genius of Billy T. James. Billy T. James, if you don't know, if you're not from New Zealand or maybe Australia, you probably won't have heard of him. He was a big comedian / entertainer in New Zealand when I was growing up in the 80s. Well, he was kind of popular, like he was doing touring and stuff and showcase stuff, 60s, 70s, and he kind of jumped on TV. And he was awesome. And it's dated. And it's still awesome. Like, so it's a CD, DVD combo. Billy T. James, yeah. I'll put a link up to some of his stuff on YouTube, maybe. He was a very funny guy. He died way too soon, man. Like, just as it felt like he was getting really, like he was, like truly cementing himself in New Zealand culture. He died at 43. Heart troubles. He got one of New Zealand's first heart transplants back in the late 80s. His birth name was William T. Taitoko, but he changed it to Billy T. James. So he said, so then the Aussies could give my Aussie something to pronounce. Funny guy, man. Funny guy. Like I say, dated now, but still funny. I'll put up some links. So yeah, I got this from the big box retailer in New Zealand is called The Warehouse, and I got it from The Warehouse, and I think I got it on special. 2018, 2019, people weren't really buying physical stuff anymore, pretty much like now. Next one, Love Outside Andromeda from 2004. These guys popped up in the early 2000s in Australia. Had a couple of, minor hits. Got on the Triple J Hottest 100, specifically for Something White and Sigmund, and maybe for Gonna Try and Be a Girl. They've since reformed. They released an album a couple of years ago. I haven't heard. They released an album after this. I haven't heard. I found this at the radio station I used to work at. Someone dropped off a box of CDs, and I was just like, well, I'll have a bit of a go. And I grabbed that because I was just like, man, I remember these guys. And yeah, good early 2000s guitar rock, as was big at the time. Not so much leaning heavily into the 70s stuff like The Darkness or Jet, but they still had that kind of, they had a bit of like 90s jangly guitar, added distortion, a really good lead singer. If you haven't heard them, check them out. They're on YouTube. They're on Spotify. This is from 2004. They used to be called Andromeda, because up here it says Love It Outside Andromeda. Formerly Andromeda, because there was another band called Andromeda. Interesting. Good little time capsule. Next one is Mew and the Glass-Handed Kites. I found this. I got it at a record store in Parramatta, which is still there. It's called Beat Disc. Hats off to Beat Disc, still rocking and rapping down there. I mean, far out secondhand record store. I got this, when did this come out? This came out in 2005. I would have got this around, I think I got this pretty much after it came out, so 2005. These guys are still going, Beat Disc. Awesome album. I heard them on Triple J. Would have been China Berry Tree, I think, or Apocalypso. If you haven't heard Mew, they're like, they describe themselves as like indie stadium rock, and that pretty much encapsulates them if you want to boil them down to 3 words. Yeah, massive sound. They're like a 3 or 4 piece, but they just like their sound is amazing. This album, this one, and Fringers before this one are top albums. I haven't given them much time after these 2 albums, unfortunately. I have listened to them, but they haven't made the impact that like the Glass-Handed Kites and Fringers made on me. Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. turns up on this album as well, because apparently they saw him in the crowd, or they saw him like wearing a Mew t-shirt. They were like, "Hey Jay, do you want to come on our new album?" He's just like, "Yeah, all right." And yeah, he pops up on one of the tracks, and it's a really good album. I don't think it's as good as Fringers. I think Fringers is a more, like for me anyway, probably because I've listened to it more, it's a more like consistent album. This one's a bit more of a concept album. I'll have to go back and revisit it, because I have listened to Fringers more than this one. So yeah, it's got some great tracks on it though. It's got China Berry Tree, Fox Cub leading into Apocalypso. Wow, great transition. Yeah, I'll have to go back and revisit this one. Mew, 2005, and the Glass-Handed Kites. This is a pack, a 2 CD pack. I would have got around 2004. Nada Surf. One of my favorite bands of all time, I think. They got big back in the 90s for that song Popular, and they didn't get that popular off Popular. I mean, Popular was popular. It didn't lead to a lot of popularity. They're still around. You still hear them on movies and stuff every now and again. But they have been consistently releasing top quality power pop rock albums since High Low, 93, 94. And to kind of ignore or dismiss them does them a great service. They have just been releasing bangers, man. Bangers. And especially in the late 90s to around 2010s, even beyond, even their later output is still like really consistently good. This double pack, I got it in 2004. I got it for an ex-girlfriend. I never gave it to her though, because I love them so much. It's got the Proximity Effect from 1998 and Let Go from 2002. Both really good albums if you like power pop rock. You know, bit of Weezer, Cars. Oh man, great albums. The Proximity Effect came out in 98. It was their follow-up to High Low, which had Popular on it, which was kind of popular. And then the Proximity Effect came out, it bombed. They got dropped by their label, and it was such a shame because the Proximity Effect is a fantastic album. Amazing. Got some killer tunes on it. And Let Go, the follow-up, is mwah, chef's kiss. Like, such a good album. The album after that, This Weight Is a Gift from 2005, another one. Mwah. Oh, I think you'd be hard pressed to find another as consistent band as Nada Surf. Yeah, Let Go and the Proximity Effect. Start with High Low if you have to. Start at the start. High Low's a great album. It's got its hits, got its misses. But Proximity Effect, they really hit their stride. Let Go, they continued running. This Weight Is a Gift, they kept going. Since then, because of the time and place, you know, that music kind of adheres itself to in your soul. Their later stuff has less impact on me, but there's still some great ones. The Stars Are Indifferent to Astronomy, great album. Lucky has got some great songs. But anyway, I've rambled on about Nada Surf enough. I can't remember where I got this, but I think I got it cheap, and I was going to give it to my girlfriend at the time, and I did not. All right, Thalia Zedek, one of my favorite singers of all time. Started out in a band called Uzi back in the 80s in Boston, back in Boston. I don't know why everyone says that. Then she started a band called Come, and now she's in a band called the Thalia Zedek Band. This is an EP of hers from, I think, when was this from? 2003, 2004 maybe? It's got 5 songs. It's got a cover of Candy Says by the Velvet Underground. It's got a cover of You're a Big Girl Now by Bob Dylan. She is amazing. She came out to Australia last year with Come, and I saw her then, and she came out back in 2000 and would have been 2004, 2005, I think 2004. Yeah, so 20 years, over 20 years. I've seen her both times. I love you, Thalia. I wish you'd come to Australia more. But yeah, great EP from a great recording artist, great performer. If you haven't heard Thalia Zedek, if you haven't heard Come, go out and have a listen. Come, one of my favorite 90s bands of all time, easily. And this is a good EP. I got this mail order back when mail order was a thing, and you used to get excited about ordering stuff online and getting it delivered weeks later. And I got this and a couple of other things of hers. And, oh man, great album. You're a Big Girl Now, her cover of that is like next level. Now they say people do better versions of Bob Dylan songs. Like other people do better versions of Bob Dylan songs. Yeah, that's one of the cases. All right, what's next? Spare Shells, tribute to the Specials. I can't remember where I got this. I think I got it from the radio station I used to work at. Again, just like people would bring boxes of CDs, and yeah, I'd kind of say, oh, I'll take that home and listen to it, and I never returned it. Whoops. It's full of bands doing special songs. So like Citizen Fish doing Nightclub, the Busters doing Enjoy Yourself, the Voodoo Glow Skulls doing Blank Expression. Are they all Australian bands? I don't know. When's this from? When is this from? Oh no, there we go. There's a map of all the bands and where they're from. How thoughtful. Yeah, that's cool. Sweet. I don't know when this is from. Tribute to the Specials. Yeah. Cool. If you know anything about it, anything more than me, I don't think I've ever listened to it. I might have listened to it a few times, maybe played it on the radio. Yeah. Belle and Sebastian, Girls in Peacetime Want to Dance. Again, another radio station find. I love Belle and Sebastian. I love them. If You're Feeling Sinister, I think is in my top 10. But I am guilty of not listening to a lot of their other stuff. Like I do. But it's weird now. We don't listen to albums. We listen to like, this is Belle and Sebastian on Spotify, but you gotta slow down and go album by album. I can't remember if there's any like great standouts to me from this album, but I'm sure there are. Belle and Sebastian are one of those bands. Like, I had a copy of the one that what's it called? The Life Pursuit. And I had a copy of that CD for years and years. I never gave it much time. But then I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I put it on, and I couldn't stop listening to it. It was such a good album. I think it's one of my favorite Belle and Sebastian albums. And yeah, I'm just a little bit guilty of not giving them specific attention and on albums as they come out, to the extent that If You're Feeling Sinister and Life Pursuit had on me. I'm sure I rinsed this hard when it came out in 2014, but since then, probably not as much. So yeah, I'll get back into that. This came out in 2014. Yeah, I think we got it sent to us at the radio station, and I took it home to burn it and play it on the radio station. Whoops, what? I'll edit that out. And then I never gave it back. That's what happens. And the last one, Morbid Angel Covenant. Had this one for years. I can't remember where I got this from. I can't remember. And I was always a big fan of Rapture, because the video of it back in the 90s, and the double bass kick drum and Trey Azagoth's guitar. But I never gave this CD much time until about probably 10 years ago. When I was driving around the city doing deliveries and stuff like that for an events company, and I had this in my glove box, and oh man, awesome album, amazing. Yeah, one of the great death metal releases from the 90s, easy. I can't remember where I got this from. Where did I get you from, Covenant? I beseech thee. Oh, dark lord of memory, where did I get this album? Yeah, I can't remember at all. This came out, when did this come out? Oh, my eyes are going on me. Plus, they're always pretty so small and it's so hidden. 1993, there you go. That was a great year for metal. Anyway, that's 10 CDs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'll count the 2 Nada Surf ones. There is another CD on the lounge, and I took it out of the stack and I didn't put it back in. Then I started, and I was like, wait, that's 10. That's 10, Volume 1. 10 CDs, Volume 1. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you another time.